In this exercise, we're going to take a look at text. Text is created using the text tool here in the toolbox. If you also hold your mouse button down on the text tool, you'll see the groupings of text tools that you can select. We're going to start using the horizontal type tool. Before we get into the creation of text, come over to the layers panel here and you'll see that I have several layers already. I have a text layer and I have a layer that looks like a text layer. The first layer with the T inside the layer icon, that is indication of a text layer, a vector layer, a layer that has text that is editable. The other layer, you'll see the word text, but it is not a vector editable layer. It is a raster layer, and you can apply filters and different style techniques to it, but you can no longer edit this text. Alright, let's create some text. Once you select the text tool in the toolbox, options specific to the text tool will show up in the options bar across the top. Let's take a look at a few of them. You have the font field where you can choose the font you want to use. You have the style field, and you have the point size, and you have alignment and color. So first of all, let's set our parameters for the font. I'm going to type in the field, or I can also just select an item from the menu. And I'm going to choose the Arial font, regular style, 100 point size, and I'm going to set the color as just a light color here. Alright, so coming over to my canvas, I click and I type text. Now I want to move this text because you can see it's over on the left hand side of my screen. I do not have to select the move tool. I could, but I don't have to. As long as I have the text tool selected, as I hover outside of the text, you'll see that the text tool changes to the move tool. So I can just hold my mouse button down and just drag it to the location that I want to drag it to. Now if I want to change my text and I don't want to do it from the options bar here, I can select the character panel or the paragraph panel, and I can do that from either the window menu, or I can click this icon here and it'll bring out the panels from the panel dock. And let me separate these and bring them out. So I want to select my text and modify it a little bit. So I'm going to double click and it selects my entire line of text. And instead of the Arial font, I'm going to select Impact. And actually, let me just type that in, it's faster. And I'm going to press Tab, and that will go to the next field. For the point size, I'm going to enter 200 and press Tab, and as I keep pressing the Tab key, it will continue to navigate through the different fields in the character panel. So let's slide that over. Right now my alignment is set to center. I can click on the alignment icon in the paragraph panel and I can change that alignment to left. So as you see, you can format your text from the character panel and the paragraph panel, but you can also format your text from the text warp icon in the options bar. So let's click on that and it will bring up a warp text dialog box. Let's select from the style menu. You have several presets here that are available. Arc, lower arc, arc upper, arch, bulge, and so forth. So let's go for wave. And from wave, you can actually bend it a little more, positive or negative direction. And I can change the horizontal and vertical distortion if I choose to. And if I click that, wow, a lot of different ways you can manipulate the text here. So I'm going to leave this at wave and choose OK and click on it. And the best thing about this text is that it is still editable. So let's select that, select the whole thing, and I'm going to type in taxi, or I can select it and go back to text. A little tip about when you're trying to select your text. If your text is large enough, you can really see the icon change when you're up against the text, so that when you click you can make sure that the text is selected. Or you can click inside the text and double click in order to select all of the text. If you have more than one line of text, multiple clicks will select all of the text. The reason I give you this tip is because a lot of times if you try to select text like you can in a regular like a word processing program, and you try to go to the front edge of the text and drag across, sometimes you may not actually get to that exact spot. And when you don't get to that exact spot, you may find that your layers panel will then become populated with multiple text layers, and they happen to be created because you did not click in the right spot. So I find that selecting text by clicking in the text itself and then multiple clicks will select the text for me, or I can select inside the text and then drag across. That way you do not populate your layers panel with these excessive text layers. Another quick tip for you is if you would like to increase or decrease the size of your type, you can double click to select your type, and on your keyboard on a Mac you would press the Shift Command greater than symbol. On a PC you would select the Shift Control greater than symbol, and this will increase my text point size. If I want to decrease the text point size, I press Shift Command less than symbol. For a PC, Shift Control less than symbol, and that will decrease the size of the text. I can also just hold down those keys and it will increase or decrease the size of the type. So now you've seen a sampling of how you can edit text and set different parameters using the options bar across the top and using the character and paragraph panels. Also, with the text warp icon, I am going to take this warp off of this text because there's one other tip I'd like to show you. I would like to go over to the layers panel, and I'm going to turn on the visibility of my image layer, my flowers layer, which is at the very top of the layers panel, and select it. I want to have my image of flowers show through the text, but only through the confines of the text. So with that image layer selected, I'm going to go to the layers panel, flyout menu, and select Create Clipping Mask. What will happen is that the image will become clipped to the text layer below, so that the image only shows through the boundaries of the text. And I'm going to select my text layer, and my text layer is still editable. So I can select text and retype, and I can even move this text layer around so that the specific areas of the image that I want to show through do. This marks the end of this segment, and in the next segment we will go over paragraph styles, character styles, and paragraph type.